This week on the Anime Alchemist podcast.
Time where everyone's collecting Yu-Gi-Oh, everyone's collecting Pokemon cards. No one really knows how to play it. You're watching it, of course. Pokemon movie comes out, and she introduced me to Sailor Moon. That was the very first anime that I watched.
Are there like certain things that you feel like as a One Piece fan you want or need to see done in the anime or in the manga before the show ends? Like,
See, I really did not like Orochi in the
Okay.
Wano arc. I think he's easy to hate though, and it's unlike Doflamingo where it's like you love Doflamingo but you hate Doflamingo,
Yeah.
right?
You love to hate him.
Exactly. Orochi and just I think how I don't know diabolical he was, and just like that snake aspect. Obviously, I think Orochi has to do with like snakes in Japanese and stuff in general, but just that kind of character alone, I don't really vibe with, and so
yeah,
definitely not. And I would say he's probably my least favorite at the moment.
that's a good. Yeah.
Welcome back to the Anime Alchemist podcast. My name is Emery.
My name's Martine.
This feels really weird not
yeah.
hearing it like right after my name.
Yeah, it's always in that same order. We're missing another member of our Alchemist trio. Gary is feeling a little under the weather today, so he's taking a little bit of a break. We wish him, a speedy recovery.
But it is a special episode for Martine is back from fat camp. Not really.
These motherfuckers, I listen to the episode and they're talking shit while I'm gone. I'm like, yeah, of course. But, well, however, we may not have Gary. We do have another guest to fill in his spot today. We have Taylor here. Taylor, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hello, I am Taylor, better known as cheeyeahboy on TikTok, and yeah, hi,
AKA
I'm so
real
glad to
life
be here.
Kuma.
The real life Kuma, yeah.
Real life Kuma, real life Brooke at this point.
Yeah, no. Have you seen?
Yes,
Oh my
I
God.
So good.
They're so good. We're going to get into that. Appreciate everybody for listening, whether it's on Apple Podcast or Spotify. Maybe you guys are watching us over on YouTube. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, turn those notifications on. It's episode 128.
Yeah,
Okay.
probably. One of these days we'll drop the numbers, bro.
One day.
One
Yeah,
day we'll just be like,
completely.
fuck it, figure it out yourself.
Oh God. That'll be,
Been here
that'll
for a
be the
minute.
day. That'll be the day.
Um,
We'll do it on like 200.
200. I was thinking 150.
Okay. I mean, fair.
All right.
But
Wow.
all right, let's get into it. Spoiler warning, like always. If you guys don't know, spoiler warning can get you 10% off on some G Fuel. And let's talk about some anime.
Yeah.
I guess so. We have a guest, so like always, we have to interrogate them, and we have to get into the nitty and gritty on like what makes a weeb tick, basically. The first one that we kind of like to ask, I guess, is what initially got you into anime?
Gosh, I'll say too that it is specific to anime because I remember I had to have been about 7 or 8, just learning about the world, and I had a friend actually who lived down the street from me, and I would go over to her house, and she was big into Pokemon and Sailor Moon. And at the time, I've got 4 brothers and a sister, and so at the time, everyone's collecting Yu-Gi-Oh, everyone's collecting Pokemon cards. No one really knows how to play it. You're watching it, of course. Pokemon movie comes out, and she introduced me to Sailor Moon. That was the very first anime that I watched that I actually was like, wow, this is amazing, right? Magic Girl, super awesome. Resonated with me a little bit more than Dragon Ball Z did, which is also that segue into anime, which I think as a kid, you're kind of just like, oh, this is just cartoons, right? You don't really know the adult tropes that fall in line with some of these TV shows.
But it hits different when you're older.
Absolutely. And so, yeah, it was definitely introduced to me by friends, a singular friend growing up, and God, at an early age too, and then just continuing that into Toonami and stuff. I'm 29, if that wasn't apparent, and so just early Toonami and watching it with my friend.
Nice, yeah.
Cool.
I always feel like Toonami was the gateway for so many people. Like
For like Western? Oh, yeah.
for the Western audiences,
yeah.
they did a really good job of introducing it early on, I think. And like I remember, you made a really good point when you said that like we thought it was more so cartoons. Like when I was watching Dragon Ball Z as a kid, I genuinely just considered it a cartoon. I
Yeah.
never really thought about the fact that it was anime. Like I always thought it was a little bit different than the other cartoons, but I was like, oh, it's just different. That's it. And then I come to learn, it's from a completely different country, different culture, blah blah blah, and you're like, oh, this is cool. And then as you keep watching other shit, you start realizing that like, oh, this is this is good. This is different.
I constantly will go back to tell my mother, be like, do you have any idea what you let me watch? She was like, no. I'm like, you should go back and just rewatch like the first 3 episodes of Dragon Ball and tell me that was appropriate.
Oh God, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I'm just like,
But we watched Ed, Ed and Eddie as kids too, and I don't even know if that's really appropriate.
And like Courage the Cowardly Dog, that shit would like traumatize me.
yes. That red cat that wouldn't blink, that was.
Oh yeah.
I hated the one
Alien
with
ducks.
the alien ducks. There was the one with the fucking, I don't even remember what it was, but it was like this weird looking thing outside, and it would just like sway in the wind.
Oh, the slab.
Yes,
Give
the
me
slab. You remember that
Yeah, I
one?
do.
That one made me so uncomfortable as a kid. It genuinely gave me like nightmares. And there was another one, like with the, I don't even remember. It was like the guy who gave Courage like a haircut or something. He like shaved him and shit. Remember that one?
No.
It was really traumatizing.
I'll be honest, I tried to not watch it as much as possible. I watched it, like the first time I ever watched it, and that's how I know it traumatized me, was like, at like, I guess like a family get together, and they were like, go hang out with the kids upstairs, and we go upstairs and they're just watching that, and it's like a party at night, and I'm just like, what
What is going on?
what's going on? What's going on? Somebody opens the door.
What
I'm just like,
Blue's
Jesus.
Clues?
Yeah, such a good show.
Yep.
I mean, peak childhood.
Peak Child,
Yeah.
They don't make them the same way
To say the
anymore.
least, things can be more traumatizing than anime as a kid. So
Oh, yeah. But I think like watching all of that growing up kind of made me realize like cartoons are cool because it's not always just meant for kids. Like you can do really cool things with animation in general. And I think that's kind of like
absolutely.
you see that with shows nowadays because outside of even anime, you see Western shows like Invincible, for example. Like that stuff is really cool because it's superhero based. It's not so much anime, but it's still animation. And I think that you can just explore a lot of cool stories and get really detailed with it where it wouldn't look great as a live action sometimes.
Absolutely, absolutely. Like even like The Simpsons, right? Where people will be like, "Oh yeah, anime is for kids," while they're watching The Simpsons like every Saturday or something.
Yeah.
So it's like, come on.
Like Simpsons, Family Guy, like bro, like that's
Yeah.
also cartoons. You're just watching adult cartoons,
Literally.
yeah. And sometimes it's more fun. And there's always that like really bad stereotype that cartoons are for kids. When I did research a long time ago about this, that cartoons were originally made for adults. Like some of the first animation to ever come out in the States, it was all oriented towards adults. There was never
Betty Boop.
Yeah, it was never meant for kids. It was always meant to do more adult humor, stuff like that, because it was easier to get away with than like, showing that kind of same thing with actual people. Because it was a more conservative time, you know? Like you wouldn't have your actors performing certain things. But in a cartoon, it's more unrealistic, so they would just do more adult jokes because it was easier to get away with. Then they started like kind of changing it, and they realized that like you can market to kids a lot better because it helped sell merchandise way more. So once like Disney kind of started getting involved in that, Pixar, all of that, then you start seeing way more animation oriented for children because they made so much money just off the merchandise that they could sell.
Gotcha.
Right? Like Toy Story, for example, you see that. Even like all the really old Disney princesses, that kind of animation and Mickey Mouse, all of that led to just so much merchandise, the theme parks, everything. So it's really interesting when you kind of look back into it. Already with the tangents.
I know, for real. So being such like what I'm gonna consider like an OG anime fan, do you have an anime top 5?
I do, and it's ebbs and flows. I would say the number one spot for me has always been Naruto. That is like my favorite anime. Not considering like Boruto. Like I've gotten into Boruto a little bit, but like Naruto Shippuden, definitely I consider it concluded, and so it can hold that number one spot for me. One Piece may take the cake once it's done, right? Maybe I hate the ending of One Piece, and so I don't want to rank it at number 1 just yet. So I would say Naruto, and then I would go One Piece, then I would go Attack on Titan.
Ooh.
Then I would go Sailor Moon.
Ooh.
And then, number 5, that's where it kind of ebbs and flows. JJK's in there.
Yeah.
I'm actually a really big MHA fan. And so I'd say JJK right there right now, just because I'm actually fully caught up in the manga. So that would be my top 5.
Are you caught up with the manga as of like late or no?
Who are you talking to?
You'd never talked to me about it, so I don't know what I can
I'm trying
say.
to keep it low key from you. Because
It's just us. This is the perfect opportunity.
This is.
Dog, I'm sorry, man. Like, when are we gonna get an opportunity to talk about JJK, manga-wise?
Okay. I'll make sure I'll edit this.
And we'll make sure to let him know too. Oh, I'm sorry. You might have to like cover your ears, girl.
Oh yeah.
I love you.
Sorry, I'm sorry. I love you too.
We'll try to
we
keep
just
it relatively vague.
we have I guess JJK sweet virgin years in the room. So
Our audience members.
No. Yeah,
the,
them
the,
too.
The live audience.
I
has
can
to
keep it
come
relatively ambiguous, but what have your thoughts been on the JJK manga recently? Like, just broadly.
I would say I wouldn't consider myself like a writer critic, so I don't really critic things that way. I would say that it's definitely been like at 100 for the last 50 chapters, whatever. It has been just going, just not even, and I wouldn't even say surprise after surprise, because Gege has a really good job at not surprising us. He likes to keep us on our toes when it comes to characters and character deaths. and so yeah, I've been disappointed in a few things that he's done, I would say, but I think he always leaves the window open. It doesn't seem as though he's finite in a lot of the decisions he makes.
Yeah,
which
that's
is
the feel that I'm getting to.
Yeah, he does a lot of recollections to characters in the past, and unless I see him in heaven, I don't think they're dead. That's
what I'm saying too. Yeah, it kind of has that same One Piece effect where, like, are they really dead? Like, are they actually gone until you show me a body and you tell me, oh, he did? That's when I'll believe it. In One Piece, you could blow up apparently with a bomb and still show up the next chapter, be like, I'm good, don't worry.
Fall into the depths of the earth into magma, and it's still up for debate, right?
Yeah, I still think that like Kaido and Big Mom are alive.
Okay.
Like, it's just.
So what you're telling me? There's a chance Pedro's still alive.
No, Pedro's dead.
Oh yeah,
damn.
No, yeah. If I'd honestly be more mad if they came out and said that he was alive.
Gotcha.
Because they would have done a disservice to his whole moment, the whole reason they were even fighting in the first place too. Like, that.
And carrot to her whole or not origin story, but her growing up.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it honestly is part of her origin story at this point, with all the shit that she was exposed to.
Absolutely.
Like I think death in shows is really important, and I don't think that you should shy away from it just because everybody likes a character. Like, if it impacts the story in a way where it like helps other characters grow, then I think it's worth it to commit to certain character deaths.
Okay.
If you're just killing for like the spectacle of it and just to be like, oh my god, this person died. All right, like, it loses its shine after a while, I guess. Then you just like JJK kind of got to that for me.
I was just about to say, JJK
like,
kind of seems like I can kill whoever I want.
Yeah, and like I can't get attached to anybody because it has a Game of Thrones type of effect where like you don't know who's gonna die next. You know?
Game of Thrones, don't even get me started. You want to talk about freaking more live shows? Oh, don't even get me started. Top 5 for me.
It's so good. Oh, I can't. Have you seen House of the Dragon?
Oh yeah, I cannot wait for the second season.
Wow, you are the perfect person for this podcast.
Yeah, for real.
I did not realize
Total
that.
weeb. I know I'm mostly anime, but I'm telling you, I'm part of a lot of fandoms.
That's good.
Oh, same. Just about anything that's on the television, yeah, I'll consume it.
On the television.
1,000, except for like the Kardashians.
Okay, yeah, no. I don't. No, yeah, maybe not that.
Yeah, I can't do reality.
I say sorry,
TV.
not sorry, but I really don't care.
Yeah, reality TV is not it for me. There's nothing that even draws me to check it out. I'm like,
that's why I like the fantasy stuff, because reality sucks dick.
Well, I will say my name is based off of Flavor Flav. My cheeyeahboy.
Oh,
yes,
funny.
because I used to be obsessed with the Flavor of Love when I was in like 6th grade.
Yeah.
And so he used to always shout, "Yeah, boy!"
Yeah,
so I would
boy.
go, "Yeah, boy!" That's the whole origin story of my
That's
name.
fine. There's reasoning behind it. I'll take it.
Yeah. But okay, that's a different story though. Okay, Flavor Flav was iconic for our like development as children.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Like
Big clock and everything.
early MTV. No, that was vital.
I miss early MTV, bro. It used to be actually like a good channel, man. What happened to the music videos? What happened, man? It had such a good thing going. We're really showing our
I was
age.
like, we're really showing our age with this one. I'm also 29, so
27.
All right, well, okay.
Yeah.
Elder millennials, younger millennials. That's
Over
what
the
you
hump at
consider us.
least. 25.
Yeah. Oh God.
Jesus.
So okay, now that we know like, what got you into anime, what animes you enjoy, the next I guess big question we really have to ask and address is like, what got you into cosplaying?
Gosh, what got me into cosplaying? I would say for the most part, I've always had this desire and urge to. I remember being a kid, and my brother Morgan, we're kind of old-timey in that sense. We used to always want to go to Renaissance fairs and that kind of stuff. And, growing up, maybe you don't really have the financial means to partake in that kind of stuff. And so you get older. I was in the Navy for 6 years and couldn't really cosplay then as much as I would have wanted to, I would say. I did on the ship once. I sang the Pokemon theme song in cosplay.
Nice.
That's awesome.
But yeah, I think settling down and kind of having the financial means too is what really threw me in there. And even then, I'm thrifting for cosplays and stuff. But it wasn't until actually I started watching One Piece and I saw Kuma specifically, and I thought, you know what, that would be an excellent intro, like, cosplay character. I've already got the hair, kind of already got the face. Let's be real. All I need is a bucket hat and a big black jacket, and I can make this happen. And so, it really tested my last minute cosplay creativity, I should say, because I did make the cosplay, right? I cosplayed, or I thrifted the jacket, I bought the white bucket hat, I made the ears, I ironed on all the white, made the pants. My husband had some brown boots, and I was like, I'm about to steal these, sucker. And so I did. And yeah, that's really what jumped me into actually going like full speed ahead into trying different things and wigs and makeup. And so yeah, definitely seeing Kuma threw me over the edge.
I love it because I've never seen a Kuma cosplay, and you nailed it. It looks so good.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Ripping,
I remember Googling it.
Yeah, no, it was so solid. Like, when he showed me your profile, I was like, oh, this is so cool. Like, I like it when cosplayers do different characters than what everyone else does.
Yes.
Like, trust me, I love, like, all the Nami, Robin cosplays, but, like, you see so many of them sometimes. I like people who are very specific. I'm like, no, like, this character, I think, doesn't get enough representation sometimes, and, like, go for it.
Absolutely.
Especially with a show like One Piece. There's so many characters to choose from.
So many. I did Portia from the freaking the Foxy Pirates,
nice.
And that was like my second cosplay. Maybe I was like, I would buy a red jumpsuit and I could just play Portia.
Love that.
But yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, nothing against cosplaying popular characters. I think for me specifically, I enjoy cosplaying characters that require minimal effort when it comes to like wigs, because at a convention, right, it kind of sucks to wear a wig all day or like being a full face of makeup.
Right.
And be comfortable, I think. And so it was all about being comfortable in my cosplays at first. And now I'm kind of venturing out into, like, I did a Femme King and I was in all leather and I was like, I cannot wear this in the Texas heat. Like, there's no way I'm going to a cosplay convention in this.
Right.
So,
that's cool. You're in Texas?
What part of Texas?
I am. San Antonio.
Yo, we're in Houston.
You guys are in Austin?
No, we're in Houston.
Oh, what the heck?
Yeah.
I've never been to Houston, so...
I'm just saying, Anime Matsuri's like right around the corner.
We have a convention.
I'm just saying.
There's one in August called Anime Matsuri that we try to go to every year. That one's really fun, and we like to go out and make content and kind of just, that's like our main convention that we go to. And we are like looking to, try different conventions too. And San Antonio has some really good ones that I've seen over the last year.
Yeah. They just had Riverwalk Anime, which I meant to do. But didn't actually get. I completely forgot the dates, and then I'm in a boot now, so it's not like I can get around to these things like
right.
Yeah, and so there's Big Texas that's coming up, and then there's DreamCon in Austin, which is like one of the bigger Texas conventions that I plan on going to this year. Yep.
Nice.
Yeah.
There's also one, I don't know if y'all have heard of it. It's called NostalgiaCon, I think. Have y'all heard of it?
I have heard of NostalgiaCon. I think, did it just pass or is it about to pass?
It might be about to pass, but that one's really cool because it has like a lot of anime voice actors, but it's also just more like your nostalgic cartoons. All those voice actors are showing up. I think like a lot of the old school Power Rangers are going to be there. I think a lot of maybe the Avatar might be there too, potentially.
Think so. I know Dante Bosco likes to go to a lot of those type of conventions and stuff. He was one of the first voice actors I met too.
I also think Frankie's voice actor is going to be there. The guy who does Endeavor, Frankie, the guy that we want to play, Thomas Andre.
Gotcha.
Yeah, no, he's gonna be there, and I don't see him do a lot of conventions. So I saw a lot of voice actors. I'm like, oh, like I don't see you very often, like going around. And I think Nico Robbins' voice actor might be there too.
Oh, that's a good reason to go then.
Yeah, but I think it's relatively.
It's very rare that she goes to any conventions.
Yeah, it's hard to find her places.
I know people when the Going Merry and the Thousand Sunny Funko Pops got released, people were trying to get it signed by every English voice actor, and that's what was one of the complaints, right? Was like, I can never find a Robin at a good.
Yep.
We have a friend that actually did that.
Yeah, I think he's literally missing Robin and Frankie's voice actors, and that's it.
Yeah.
All he's missing. He has both
Oh.
the Sunny. Oh my god, his fucking One Piece collection pissed me off. He has so much shit that I
He
want.
has like he has the fucking coolest shit you can get as like a One Piece collector. He's a piece
Resin
of shit. I love him.
statues. I'm assuming he got some resin
everything.
statues.
Oh, he got the glass cases now
Mhm.
too, bro. He sent me videos of it. Oh, and I remember when his collection was like a couple bookshelves. 'Cause I've had this friend for a long time. His name's Eric. He's actually been on this podcast a couple times before. He used to be like my manga person whenever I felt like doing a One Piece manga episode. I was like, Gary, fuck off. I'm trying to do a manga episode this time. So they would literally just go to another room, hang out in the living room, and then I'd be up here with Eric and we would talk about like the most current things. We do like a good hour and a half to 2 hour recap of the manga. We did like a Wano recap and a little bit of an Egghead recap at the time. And we haven't done that in a long time, but it was fun talking to him because he's one of the reasons I also started watching One Piece. Between him and then these two,
You're welcome.
yeah.
You'd think you'd listen to more of the animes I recommend you.
No, because then you're gonna be like, see, I was right, and I don't want you to be right.
Fuck you.
I don't
Then
even
you'll
give
both
you
be
that.
sitting there in V-Star shirts.
Exactly. Yeah, no. Absolutely not.
I am trying to get him to watch that.
No, not yet. Not anytime soon. I'll probably watch.
I still want to.
You haven't seen it either?
I haven't.
It's solid.
I want
Like
to.
if you get past the stigma, honestly, just get past.
I mean, even with the stigma.
It's got a really good story. It's got good characters.
The thing is, I believe you.
The thing about I
just don't want to.
I'd expect you to like it because it's about theater kids.
That trust me, you'd think that'd be a selling point sometimes, but sometimes it just reminds you of like how cringe theater kids can be.
Okay, that's a good point.
Yeah, I don't want to relive my high school trauma.
That's fair. Okay. So yeah, but definitely we'll have to link up for a con though.
Yeah,
I would
for
love
sure.
that.
Absolutely.
I have
Yep.
a
Now that I know we're
friend
all
in
in
San
Texas.
Antonio. Yeah, we've been wanting to like at some point go out to visit him, but he's been on our podcast probably the most times. His name's Sam, and he has crazy anime takes. So if we ever end up doing like a trip to San Antonio, we'll definitely reach out to you. So that would be really cool to do in
Absolutely,
person.
And then if you come to Houston, we'll definitely do an episode with you live in the studio because that would be fucking
Oh,
awesome.
heck yeah.
Yeah, then you
heck
can see
yeah.
the whole collection and how fucking crazy that is.
Right.
And I can see how small the room really is.
Yeah. Oh god, it gets so hot in here.
Oh yeah, no, you can put 4 people in this room, and you're like, damn.
A little claustrophobic.
A little bit. That's why we take our breaks in between. Like we'll just go and kind of like let the room cool off for a little bit, and then come back in. But it looks great on camera.
Now, so we can keep interrogating. What's I think this is kind of a difficult question to ask, but do you have like a favorite anime character?
You know, I do, and I think I've like dipped into simp talk quite a bit, right? Where
Okay.
you know people are simping over characters, and
Oh, you
and
have
my
no idea who
number
you're talking
one.
to.
Okay, all right. Well, that's good to know. Maybe we'll
Mhm.
get into some of our simp hot takes later, or hear me outs, I should say. But
Here,
say Jiraiya
I kind
Sensei.
of like that. Hear me out.
yeah, the hear me out. We could have a hear me out segment. How does that
I'm
sound?
down,
I like that.
But yeah, no, you can kind of see on the wall here, I've got my 3 top anime men. But Jiraiya Sensei, Legendary Sanin, Pervy Sage is my number 1 anime character of all time.
Okay.
With
Respect
Zoro
that.
following a close second. And Zoro is my favorite One Piece character to preclude your second question.
Next question.
Just found a best
You're,
friend.
you can be one of my friends for life now. I'm a Zoro ride or die till
Me?
I die. Like
Me too. And you know, I think he gets a lot of hate, especially from Sanji lovers. And maybe this is delving into simp talk a little bit, but it's like, man,
There's
you
sexual
have your
tension.
blonde boy. Have your blonde boy. My boy is second best. I don't care what you have to say. Like,
I mean,
I love
Bunny,
Zoro.
you should put the headphones on. You might enjoy this conversation.
Our little producer.
Our little producer, she's so she's a ride or die law.
okay.
But
the
Law.
reaction right away. You're like, uh-huh.
No, here's the thing. My brother cosplays Law, so it's kind of watered down for me a little bit,
Okay,
simping
okay.
for him a little bit. I'm just like, it's kind of weird if I
It's
do.
kinda
Like if I'm sitting there and I'm like, Law is like off, then my brother would be like, hold on, I cosplay him, and I'm gonna be like, relax, buddy,
Yeah,
not you.
I appreciated the female law episode though. That was a good one.
Yeah.
Very much.
Mm-hmm. But she's
Very
also
much so.
she's a strong Zoro and Sanji ship.
Oh, Zosan.
Oh yeah.
It has a name.
Yes,
It has
Zosan.
a
I am
name.
here for it.
I didn't know
Oh
that.
yeah, Frobin, Zosan. I
I'm
don't ship Luffy with anybody, but
Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you.
If I did ship Luffy with anybody, it'd be probably Nami. Honestly, I really don't. I wouldn't want him to be like anybody else. I'm not a fan of him and Boa at all.
Not at
really.
all.
No, that's
No.
cringe.
No, I don't hate Boa the way these guys do, but I don't like her. and
I was a
Luffy together.
predator.
Listen,
Predator.
listen.
I hated Amazon Lily. I'm not gonna lie. I think it was such an uncomfortable and fan service for the dudes for sure. I mean, we saw a glimpse of Luffy's buns, and that was like a little too much for me. Okay, we're talking about his nuts.
Yeah,
We're
that's
talking
true.
about his
That
nuts.
was a
Family
little out of
jewels.
pocket.
It's family jewels.
It's family jewels.
Yes, it's family jewels. That's what. Oh, this is what jewels look like.
Yeah. You just had a bunch of women trying to pull that last mushroom off.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, this is getting. I don't even have balls, and this is a little weird for me.
Well, I will say Amazon Lily was definitely weird after the shit that happened in fucking Sabaody. It was a very quick tonal shift.
Yeah.
Of all
Like,
things. I'll give you that. I think Boa gets a lot of hate sometimes. Like they don't like her because she is supposed to be like what like a powerful. Give me your reasoning, I guess, why you don't like Boa.
she kicks cats.
She
That-
does kick
she
cats.
does
That's
kick a
another
cat.
reason.
But she hasn't done that in
Animal
like 2
abuser.
years, probably.
I don't care.
Probably does it for fun.
Like the issue is like if it wasn't a cat, it would have been something else. It would have
If it
been
was
a
a
dog.
dog, then I wouldn't have liked her as much.
See, exactly. What if it was just
Fair.
this? What if it was just a black lab walking past her? Just,
Unless it's a Chihuahua, like yeah, no. Like who wouldn't want to kick a Chihuahua? I'm sorry. I might need to cut that. Listen. Chihuahuas are just a little annoying for me. I'm not a fan, but
it's okay. It's okay. Who are you talking
like,
to?
yeah,
Dog
no.
discourse.
I have a bad experience with Chihuahuas. They fucking suck. That's
Fair,
all I'm
fair.
saying.
Fair enough. Yeah, personal
But
experience.
it's also, it's like
The way she like simps over Luffy.
it's that man. I love her, just powerful woman. I love that side of her. It's great.
right.
It's very attractive.
Right.
But then the moment she turns into this super simp, I'm just like, why?
But don't you think it's kind
I
of?
think it.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say. I think it's equally as annoying as like Sanji when he simps and
Yeah.
how bad it gets. Like in Fishman Island, right? Like
Agreed. Oh, the
at some
worst
point you're just like,
Sanji.
get over it, right? And so I think that's where it gets for me. I'm just like, okay, there are some bits that go a little too far and a little too long, like
Mhm.
in Family Guy where he hits his knee and he's like,
Ah.
like 30 minutes of that? Come
Yeah.
on,
Yeah.
I don't want to see that.
No, I agree. Like the Sanji stuff is cool, but I hated when like remember when he got the invisibility stuff and he was like
Uh-huh.
in the bathhouse and
Mhm.
everything.
Shower,
like,
yeah.
Dude, come on. You're supposed to be like chivalrous. You're supposed to respect women. Like that's your whole thing. That is the opposite of that. Like that's the cringy
Yeah.
side of it that just kind of ruins a little
Yeah.
bit of Sanji's character. Like it's,
Absolutely.
It adds to the
That's coming from someone who's a Jiraiya simp, so it's like I get the whole
Mm.
pervy aspect, but
Mhm.
I do think, but I'm willing to admit that he's obviously it's weird his
yeah,
simp nature.
yeah.
I think there's levels to it though, and I think that's definitely a gray area. It's a little
Yeah, at least
for
it's not
debate.
like always consistently like annoyingly pervy. Sometimes it just does get a little tiresome, I guess.
yeah for sure.
I
As
was
with anything.
I will say for Boa, like at the very least, it's not like she just simps over any man or any other character. Like out of all people in the world, if it's gonna be Luffy, then I'm kind of okay with it.
Mm.
Like
Yeah,
he
I
is
think
the
too, but,
anomaly
like-
that kind of like makes it to where if she were to simp for anybody, why not be like the future pirate? That's like the
But
argument that
think
I come
about
from.
like why, right? She simps for Luffy because Luffy doesn't simp for her because
Yeah.
she can't use. Yeah, like I think it's if he did simp for her, would she still feel the same because it's Luffy, right? It's like
Exactly.
But I
there's
think that's
the-
what makes it. A
but I
unique
love the Gorgon
situation.
aspect.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But
Well, like
yeah.
Luffy is that guy. Like he doesn't care. Like anybody else would simp over her. Like I mean, you saw what happened to Sanji as soon as he saw Boa.
Mhm.
Immediately turned to stone. But like I think the relationship of Boa simping so much over Luffy because he doesn't care that much about her, at least romantically speaking. I think it adds
Yeah.
to Luffy's character because it just shows that like he's genuinely just a driven and
Absolutely.
like he doesn't have time for this kind of stuff. All he wants to do is go on an adventure and find the One Piece. Like that is his goal.
Fair.
Anything else is kind of just like whatever. Like I don't
What if
I don't care.
What if
That's a good point of view.
Luffy reciprocating the love to Boa was a prerequisite to awakening her devil fruit?
Say it again. What do you mean?
Okay, so you know how her fruit is the love fruit, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What if the prerequisite for awakening it was for the one person she loves
To love her
love her
back.
to love her back?
Oh, poor Boa. She's never gonna awaken her fruit. Never gonna happen.
Devil fruits are tricky like that, you know?
I couldn't even imagine what her fruit would be like awakened. Oh,
Everybody, everywhere, anybody who can anybody that's anybody by her hockey is essentially just done.
that's broken
Or if
as
you even
shit.
think about her, just
Yes. Oh, that'd be broken as fuck. Yeah, maybe it's a good thing
Oh,
it
yeah.
hasn't awakened. Because she's a paramecia, right?
Yes.
Okay. And she has like the love beam the way like the slow beam was for Foxy. So maybe she wouldn't have to like actually do that whole thing. Maybe it could just be more of like an area of effect type stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We always end up
Unless-
settling on like
unless-
making a room or something.
Yeah, literally. I was gonna say unless the love beam was just for visual effects, but I think beam being in the name actually does sound just like Foxy. So
Mhm.
right, dang.
Remember,
Dang,
Luffy
yeah,
did
just-
think that it was a slow beam at first.
Yeah, he's like,
Yeah,
no,
he
the
did.
slow beam.
Like,
He's so funny.
so dumb.
But I mean, I don't mind Boa too much. She's not my favorite character, but I think she has cool moments overall. And I do agree with you. I like when she's like really badass and like when she was fighting
sure, the movies.
Blackbeard. The movies, yeah, she's pretty good in the movies. That whole scene with Blackbeard when like he had her trapped and everything, like she didn't really waver. Like, yeah, she was kind of like, at a disadvantage, but she wasn't like begging for her life. She wasn't like, she was just strong and confident, be like, do what you will, like fuck you,
Absolutely.
Yeah, which I thought was pretty badass.
Do you have a least favorite One Piece character?
Gosh, a least favorite? I mean, I think that's fresh in my mind. I'm not going to say who my least favorite is right now based off of manga. I'll say based off of
I know who you're talking about.
yeah. So I really did not like Orochi in the Wano arc. I think he's easy to hate though, and it's unlike Doflamingo where it's like you love Doflamingo but you hate Doflamingo, right?
You love to hate him.
Exactly. Orochi and just I think how diabolical he was, and just like that snake aspect. Obviously, I think Orochi has to do with like snakes and Japanese and stuff in general, but just that kind of character alone, I don't really vibe with, and so definitely not. And I would say he's probably my least favorite at the moment.
That's a good,
Most
that's a good one to
recently,
hate.
yeah.
He's just very easy to hate. Yeah, I agree. They write him in a way where he has no redeeming qualities. At least like Doflamingo, he was a piece of shit, but he had an interesting story that kind of makes sense for why he's a piece of shit.
Okay, so quick question though. If he's written to be hated, is he not then a good written character?
And like that's the argument that you could make. If you're supposed to hate
talking about Doflamingo or Orochi?
Orochi. Because like
I mean,
I had this thing, and God, I hope this doesn't start a tangent. I'm sorry.
It will.
I don't know if you're a Harry Potter fan, but in the 5th movie, Dolores Umbridge.
Okay.
Everybody fucking hates her. Everybody.
And as an actress too.
Yes. When I found out that she was gonna be playing the Queen in the Crown series, I was like, get the fuck out of here. I'm about to stop watching this damn series. But
because you don't like her that much.
But God, it's the reason I hate her so much is because she did such a good job at portraying that
Joffrey Baratheon.
Same thing with Joffrey. You see him and you immediately dislike him, but that's the point. Like they were written to be characters that you despise because of their impact on the story. So that's a good argument. Like they're a well-written character if you end up having that visceral reaction to them.
Yeah. But I think maybe mine isn't so much that like I hate him so much. It's just because I don't like his character, and that's why I don't think he's. I'm not gonna say he wasn't well written. I just think it's like he's easy to hate.
Yeah.
He did the job of a villain in that arc
He
instead
was
of where
more
it's like
basic, I think.
Exactly. And I think it's easy to write a villain where it's like this guy betrays this guy and then tries to kill this guy. That's easy, right? Without adding any dimension to it. And so I would say Orochi, just because I just didn't really like him.
Yeah, I think that they like probably could have maybe not. I'm not saying give him redeeming qualities, but I think like for example, when you compare Orochi and Kaido, they were both bad people to say the least. Right?
Yeah.
Kaido was just as much of a scumbag, and he did also like horrible things to the country of Wano, to Yamato, to Odin, to like everything he did was not great. But he was a little bit more complex of a character, and you got to see more of that stuff. Like he had some slightly redeeming qualities through his experiences with like the Rocks Pirates and him moving up in the ranks to be a Yonko. Like again, it's a little bit more depth that I think justifies sometimes like, yeah, you could do a lot of bad things and be a bad person, but I still like you as a character, even though not great.
And he doesn't play dirty. I think that was his most redeeming quality, right? Like Orochi totally plays dirty,
and that's
then
probably
you see Kaido, who's equally as a scumbag, like you said. Yeah, exactly. Agreed. It's like this guy just wouldn't accept losing if it meant dirt in his eye, right?
Yeah, that's the difference between like a bad guy and a scumbag.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, true.
One of the examples that I always like to bring up is like in JJK. How do you feel about Mahito?
Here's the thing. He's my Doflamingo. He's like more so than Sukuna, right? Like he's my Doflamingo where it's just like you hate this guy, but man, was he well written.
Yeah,
see? Like, God, he's evil.
And I was telling Gary that too, because Gary is anime only for JJK. So before the season 2, before like all of Shibuya got animated, I would keep telling him like, bro, like there's gonna be a character that you're gonna fucking hate, like way more than you ever thought you would. And he was like, "Who's a Mahito?" And I'm like, "I'm not gonna tell you." Yes. And after he saw, because like, and I knew specifically for him because again, spoiler warning if you haven't seen Shibuya, I guess for JJK. Like Nanami was Gary's favorite character in the show.
Oh, mine too.
And you know, when you have a character be directly responsible for that, yeah, you can't help but hate him.
Yeah. Well, and like I think too, there's that difference in types of characters, right? There's these bad guys in One Piece who are, I would say, for I guess lack of better words, human, right? Regardless of Devil Fruit abilities, they're humans. You think they have these moral qualities to them, versus literal curses in JJK, who you expect to be evil and do these things, and then he goes a layer deeper than just being evil and is just like disgusting. Yeah. And I think that's where Mahito sits, you know. So
yeah, no, he was a menace to society. Loved it because he drove the plot, and like without him, Shibuya Incident would not have been as great as it was.
Nope.
God.
What about you guys? I don't know if you've answered this on your podcast before. Do you guys have least favorite characters? Most hated, yeah.
In all of anime or specifically One Piece?
What One Piece? Yeah,
One Piece.
Damn.
It's hard, right?
Yeah, that is tough.
This is my podcast now.
No, I like answering the questions too. One of the first characters that comes to mind is like Horty Jones from Fishman Island.
Oh yeah.
Really?
I hate him. He's such a dumb like character. He's pointless, and he was just a knockoff Arlong, I think, and it just didn't work. Okay. For me, I think it was just he didn't live up to the hype that like Arlong did, and this is like a pre-time skip villain. I think Horty was just, I don't know. He came off like desperate to try to be really strong, and he just kept like not living up to the standard of a One Piece villain, I think.
Fair. What about Vanderdecken then?
Vanderdecken's a fucking scumbag and creep. Yeah. And I do not like him.
Easy to hate.
He's one of those easy to hate because there's nothing to him. He's just a creep, and that's all he's good for.
Fair enough.
Just being
Yeah.
Horty was the main villain of this arc, and he was supposed to have more depth because of his history with Arlong and everything. And to a certain extent, sure, he did have some depth, but it wasn't like a good enough reason, in my opinion. I think he just hated humans because the plot needed him to hate humans.
Absolutely.
Personally speaking.
Yeah. No, I have my opinions on Fishman Island as an arc as a whole that I think are separate from the storyline, more so for character development as a whole. So
they fucking ruined Fishman Island for me.
Yeah, he used to like it.
I used to like it, and then they explained everything to me, and I was like, huh? Like once he pointed out, he's like, Zoro beat the main villain before Luffy did, and I was like, oh, yeah, he did do that. And he was like, and he was underwater. I was like, oh, that's a good point. What happens when Zoro's not underwater? And then you see everything, and it's like, oh.
You realize that there are no stakes because all of the Straw Hats were just nerfed the entire time. Like giving the
exactly.
Luffy was underwater.
Yeah, Luffy was underwater. he had to fight inside a bubble. Like, he was incredibly restricted. You know for a fact that if this took place above ground, it'd be over in like a few seconds. There was no challenge for them. And I think once you realize that there's no stakes, then you're just like, why do I care?
You know what the nail in the coffin was for me though? Gary pointing out that Luffy used a fire type move on a fucking water type.
Oh, it's Pokemon.
Pokemon logic. When you think about it, it's just like,
it's very effective, apparently.
like, how?
Dota. What about you? What's your least favorite character?
I mean, I got like, I would say probably like 3. I really just don't like. First one's Kainu.
Kainu?
Mm-hmm.
You defend him all the time.
Yeah, man was just doing his job.
He is literally the #1 Kainu defender, then comes out here saying he hates him.
Yeah, because he still killed Ace, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
You heard it here.
I was just doing his job, though.
He was just doing his job.
Exactly. Like, love to hate him.
He was excessively doing his job, that's for sure.
Listen, man, Kobe needed to be put in his place.
Was part of his job also killing his own subordinates?
Kobe needed to be put in his place.
No, I'm talking about the other Marines that he actually
they
killed.
needed to be put in their place too.
The ground, 6 feet under?
Hey, listen, casualties of war, bro.
Not when you're
Everybody understood
responsible
what was
for
going
your
on.
own men.
Whitebeard was on the fucking field, man. Like, there's only so much you can do.
Do what you gotta do.
Whatever you say, buddy.
You also know I really don't like Buggy.
I wish that you liked Buggy more.
And is it that trope of him always being kind of a sucker but also winning every time?
Yeah. But okay.
It's his least favorite character trope.
Yeah, it is. I don't.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
I don't like failing upward tactic.
That's fair. Absolutely.
The other thing is like, and I was kind of thinking about this when you asked the question, was that like also another thing is like, most of the time he's a fucking coward.
Oh yeah.
And it's just
big one.
It's just not the character aspects I resonate with. I like my badasses. I know I'm just a boy.
Counterpoint. He did like declare that he wanted to find the One Piece on his own when like Mihawk and Crocodile told him that like, hey, like chill out, like we're in charge or whatever. And he went out of his way to like, no, like I want to find the one, because he genuinely does.
Yeah.
He had the balls to at least say that while he was decapitated, essentially.
Yeah.
It's very rare that Buggy gets moments like that. But I will say, like, I think like they're nice when they do come. But he is supposed to be played for jokes.
Yeah, I mean, he's a clown.
He's a clown. But dude, I'm not gonna lie, like, part of me really thinks he's gonna be in the show till the very end. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up being on Laugh Tale.
Like he's not, like he's been a smoking gun this entire time. They
Kinda.
keep bringing him up because it's gonna be relevant in the end. Yeah.
I really think that he might just be there. Like, I hope he's not the one to find the One Piece first. I hope he doesn't become king of the pirates. I love the joke. Realistically, like, I need it to be Luffy, but I would not be surprised if he ends up being pivotal to the story at that point when we do get to Laugh Tale.
So Buggy's just the longest running Chekhov's gun?
Yeah, literally. That's what it's called.
I taught you what Chekhov's gun meant one time, but now you're looking for it everywhere.
Everywhere in media, bro.
Yeah. But like, I think it'd be cool, but just the joke needs to have like a line that it doesn't cross, in my opinion. Because then you just kind of like, you know, what was the point of the whole story of Luffy?
It's a fun joke.
That's why I go back to.
What's why you go back to?
Exactly. You don't know how it's. No, you're good. I was gonna say, it just goes back to what I was saying at the very beginning with, you don't know how it's going to end, and who knows, that could be a defining factor for me, right? Like, if Buggy finds the One Piece, that might be like, okay, One Piece is up there, but it's not #1 for me anymore, right? Like,
that
and
would
not to say that like
take off points, in my opinion.
It would. It's just like the last season of Game of Thrones for a lot of people. It like ruined the show for them. It's just like, but the show is still phenomenal.
Exactly. That's my argument with so many shows. Like, if a show has a poor ending, it doesn't always like mean that just the show is bad. Like for Game of Thrones, again, I agree. I did not like the ending at all. He did, and Gary did, or something.
I liked it.
I didn't like it.
I read the books though, so it was like they went in separate directions.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah.
That's a whole nother tangent we could go on, but
But
no.
like, just because the ending was bad does not mean like I recommended Game of Thrones no matter what to everybody, because I think it's a phenomenal series. Yeah, I got most of these guys to watch it, but I did warn them, like, the ending is very controversial, so, you know, take it as, I still think it's worth watching all of it.
Absolutely.
The ending doesn't diminish it, and that happens with movies, TV shows, everything, in my one of my other favorite shows is like How I Met Your Mother. I was not a fan of that ending at all.
Yeah.
I
haven't seen the end. I haven't seen it, but
I won't spoil it. But it was a sitcom, right? And again, that also falls into that trope of like phenomenal series, didn't stick the landing, and then everyone
New Girl
shits on it. Did it not have a good ending either?
I think it ended bad and poorly, kind of like how Game of Thrones did, because they had to rush the last season, didn't know if they're going to come back. People were focused on other things, and so it sucks when a show ends like that too, because the writers don't have enough time to give it the attention it deserves or needs. And so maybe that's how I Met Your Mother was too, where it was just like, we don't know if we're coming back, we kind of just want to end this, we don't want to keep writing, and character development kind of comes to a halt and stuff. But
I don't know, it could have been a combination of all of that, honestly. But I think it kind of like the ending for that one specifically, then I won't, in case you haven't seen it, I'm not gonna say anything, but it kind of goes backwards on the entire premise of the story up till then. Like, you're promised the mother, that's the whole point of the story, and then it doesn't really amount to anything in the end because of reasons. So I'll just keep it vague.
Gosh, like Hunter x Hunter. Hopefully we get the ending of Hunter x Hunter, right?
God.
Oh my God. I don't know. Well, I don't even know.
That's a conversation we've had for a while. It's the anime, what the animes put out, chef's kiss. Like, quite honestly, like, they left it enough to be like vague enough to just be like, whoa, what else is out there? That's a cool concept. That's fine. Like, it's okay leaving wanting more, but if you're gonna go diving into more, you better fucking find a way to seal that shit up.
Like, absolutely.
It's okay to tease. Don't go diving in if you can't fucking swim.
Yeah.
That's a good way to phrase it.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, like, I'm personally okay with Hunter x Hunter as the anime. Like, from beginning to end of the anime, I think it's fine. It's an ambiguous ending, but it gives you kind of what you wanted from the first episode.
You get him to find his dad.
Yeah, he finds his dad. Isn't that the main driving storyline, I guess?
Very true. Very true.
I would say
and it leaves it open for continuation if they want to continue. You're right. Yeah.
Absolutely. What I think it could benefit from is, like, if he does end up finishing the story, years from now or whatever, I think Hunter x Hunter would make more sense as, like, kind of a Shippuden type thing, where, like, make it a different show almost. Not a different show, just a continuation, but in a different format. It's not like, oh, Hunter x Hunter's coming back, more episodes, because it's been such a long time from the ending of the anime.
Kind of like what they did with Bleach, 1,000-Year Blood War arc.
Yeah, that's a perfect example. They
very much so.
Hunter x Hunter, Dark Continent.
Then the Dark Continent. Make it its own series, essentially, where you can pace it really properly. Make it a seasonal thing. Don't do what they did back in the day, because I don't think it would work anymore.
No.
But just continuing anime week by week by week. Like, One Piece is one of the few ones that can pull that off still somehow.
It's only because of Oda.
I mean, it's only because of Oda. Like, I genuinely think he gets special treatment with Toei Animation.
And I think it's how much he's able to pump out.
Yeah, it's very rare mangakas can do that now. So I think if you were to adapt everything that's been in the manga for Hunter x Hunter and create its own 1,000-Year Blood War version of Hunter x Hunter, make it seasonal or divide it into parts or cores or whatever you want, that could be really cool. Then they can control the pacing really well, spend the time with, like, updated animation, because now it is also, like, over 10 years since the anime came out. It came out in 2011. So, it could be due for another upgrade, and it did wonders for Bleach. Why wouldn't it do the same for Hunter x Hunter?
Oh yeah, Bleach back on the radar. That's another one I should have put up there with, interchangeability, because especially since I caught up in 1,000-Year Blood War arc, I'm like, holy crap.
Yeah. I haven't read the manga for 1,000-Year Blood War. I've just been watching the anime because I've been enjoying it. So good.
Same.
The anime is so fucking phenomenal. Yeah. I had a quick question, just kind of go back one of our things earlier. If, let's say, Zoro found the One Piece first, how would you feel about that? That's a question I've heard.
Here's the thing. I think Zoro finding the One Piece wouldn't matter, because I think it would be like, hey Luffy, I found the One Piece, and it would just be like a trade-off, right? He wouldn't be like a selfish second in command, in my opinion, or that's not what he desires either. As for a lot of the Straw Hats, right? What they want, why they're on the crew, is to support their captain. I would say, second to their actual dream, and so maybe even first to their actual dream, but that is Luffy's dream, and so I think they're all in support of. If anybody on the crew, in my opinion, found it, it would be like, look what we got for you, bud.
Yeah.
And a big smack on the head, right?
I found it
First.
My ideal situation would be all of them finding it at the same time. Like I would want it to be the whole Straw Hat crew is together and they stumble upon it, and it's all like a revelation all at once. Kind of the way it was for Roger
Right.
when they all saw it and they all laughed. I want the same thing, but with the Straw Hats.
Yeah, it's just a mirror, and it's them together as a crew. Power of friendship. No.
It was the friends we made along the way. That was the One Piece.
Yeah, jeez.
That might take it off of a top 5 if that's what the One Piece ends up being.
Yeah. If it ends up being like that, I'm sure a lot of people are probably gonna want to burn fucking Japan to the ground.
Yeah. I need something tangible. I don't give a shit
Yeah.
what it is, but give me something tangible because that's what he said it was. If you still want to do the power of friendship as like a motif, a theme, or whatever, cool.
Yeah.
Whatever. I don't care. It basically was the power of friendship. But give me something tangible. Give me something.
A mirror.
A mirror. I don't
Handheld
give a
mirror,
shit. Give me the first manga volume of One Piece. They're like, look, we're a manga. Like if that was the One Piece, I think that'd be fucking hilarious. And I think that'd be funny.
Just breaks right
They
through.
broke the third wall. That's hilarious.
Come on. Like if Roger saw that and he laughed because it's like, oh my god, it's our story. Like
It's how this
hey,
guy.
why else would like Luffy have cartoon powers that break the fourth wall anyways?
Yeah.
That's my personal
man.
headcanon. I think that'd be
That is
funny.
funny.
Like that's what the world government's trying to cover up. They don't want anybody to know. It's like, dude, reality's
Living in
not real,
simulation.
dude. We're in a story. You guys can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Man,
fun.
that's funny.
It's a good thing we record these so that way like in 10 years when One Piece ends, we'll look back and be how right or how wrong we were.
Yeah, seriously.
And so speaking of the ending of One Piece, Taylor, are there like certain things that you feel like as a One Piece fan you want or need to see done in the anime or in the manga before the show ends? Like for example, one of ours is a like a Shanks versus Luffy fight or confrontation at the very least. Like something that you feel like we need to see this before the end of One Piece.
The one thing I've said since he first appeared on screen is we need to see Dragon's powers. If he has power. That is the one thing, regardless of versus battles, who he fights, if he perishes. I want to see what this fool can do because there's no way he's the leader of the revolutionaries without having some sort of. He's got to
do
be
something, my guy.
Yeah, literally. And people, speculate that he can control the wind and all this stuff. And I'm like, bro, if that's it, then that's dope. But like, I gotta see him do a hockey punch or something.
Something, bro. Like we've gotten that from the most unsuspecting characters, and we're like, we've gotten them from these, but we haven't seen Dragon do shit.
And I need it.
He's really good at looking
Purpose
east
dope,
and
Luke
looking
is
west.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that is.
You said that before.
I didn't even think about that, but that's
You'll get
definitely it. That's definitely it.
Yeah, no, I would want to get some kind of confirmation because I mean, yeah, you're right. He's the leader of the Revolutionary Army, and we've seen what Kuma can do, what Sabo,
Ivankov.
Koala, Ivankov, everybody like, and they are powerhouses on their own, and they all look up to this man to lead them. You gotta like step up and.
There's no way he's got the power of persuasion. You know what I mean?
fucking
He's got
saying,
an
right?
actual.
Plot twist: he knows chalk no jutsu.
Talk no jutsu.
Yeah.
Barely talks.
Watch
like,
Naruto.
barely fucking
That's
talks.
the trick. That's the trick.
It's the
Anytime
wind. It's just the wind.
Think about it, bro. He got Smoker to lay off Luffy, bro.
Yeah, sure.
Talk no jutsu.
He would have overpowered the fuck out of Smoker.
I'm sure.
Had to.
I
If
hope.
Smoker stood down.
Dog, I want a Smoker redemption arc. I want Smoker to be back in like the story and be really relevant again.
Wow.
I don't know. I just like Smoker.
I really want to see a divide among the Marines based off of their morals.
Yes.
And I want to see. Well,
Civil War
obviously,
in the. That'd be cool.
yeah, where specific people lie. Even Akainu. And I was going to ask you this earlier, Emery, with Akainu's strong desire for justice, whether or not he's aware of Emu or if he's aware of all of these higher powers and stuff that weren't necessarily prevalent. And so if he finds out that, bro, there really is somebody doing all these things on the back end and we're really not the good guys, like I want to see if Akainu would really flip switches and what his role would be in that regard.
It's a good question.
Okay, so man, that's a really, really good question actually, because like then it just brings up that question. It brings up a question of if you were taught to uphold this standard, you are here to like essentially protect the empty throne. How do you feel when you find out it was never fucking empty?
that you've been
Exactly.
like lied to from the beginning.
I've been lied to, right?
Mhm.
And at what price, right? Friggin'
Like, think about
Lelouch.
the
Lelouch, yeah.
like the sheer amount of people he has probably killed, not knowing for just one person, essentially.
Well, it never really
Right.
seemed like he was ever like upset at having to carry out that like harsh judgment and
Yes.
justice. Like
Mhm.
remember the O'Hara incident, bro? Without
Exactly.
a thought, he sunk that boat of like people that were escaping. And he's like, no survivors. Like nobody can know about this. That's excessive, right? But
Mhm.
that is also if he's believing in what he represents as
Exactly.
an admiral or vice admiral or whatever, as a marine in general. So I honestly think that if he were to learn the truth, he would start questioning his loyalties, and I think he could have the potential to maybe switch sides, but
I
at
think
the
it
very
depends
least,
on how he finds out.
yeah,
If the Gorosei were like, listen, turns out Straw Hat Luffy's kind of like, not somebody we need to be fucking around with. Like, we need you to know everything now.
Mhm.
Then I can see him being like, okay, I understand. Like, you didn't tell me because like you had to like withhold this part of the balance. Like this, what I've been doing is low-key been helping you withhold this.
yeah.
Cool. If he finds out from like fucking somebody else, like if like I don't Sabo fucking showed up and told him there's some shit, yeah,
Mhm.
then I can see some
Yeah.
shit shifting.
He
Okay.
finds it in Big News Morgan's freaking newspaper, and he's like,
Yeah, if it was something like that big,
Oh, then I would have money on saying like, oh, he's gonna go kill somebody.
yeah, because I think
Yeah.
what really determines their loyalties is also how they feel about the world government as a whole, and specifically like celestial dragons. Like we know
Right.
Garp's position that he hates celestial dragons, so we know for a fact that I put him in the camp of being like the good moral marines, like
Yeah.
like part of that
Mhm.
divide where like there's evil marines and then
Kobe.
there's good ones. Kobe would also be in that camp. I still think Aokichi is just undercover, to be honest.
I want that to be the
It
case
has to
so
be the case.
bad.
I think he's just
So
undercover
bad.
with being part of the Black
Wait.
Panther
I mean, yeah,
Pirates.
we've been saying this.
Yeah, and,
It's like just an agent of Sword.
Yeah, I think he's just like an undercover agent of Sword, and that he's just like there to get more intel
deep
on
cover.
Blackbeard. Deep cover. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
I mean, nothing's been confirmed, but that's what I think. I still put
And
Aokichi.
even if it was for the revolutionaries too, like,
Whoa, that would be cool.
that could be interesting. Yeah.
yeah,
Mm.
freedom fighters for
Mhm.
real.
I also put Fujitora in the camp of like being a good marine.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Sengoku.
Sengoku for sure. Yeah, Sengoku would be part of
Yeah.
the good ones. Ex
Good
Drake
retiree.
Wait. Well, oh yeah, because X-Drake's basically anybody that like is associated with Sword. It seems like whoever's in Sword is more
For
of the
sure,
Yeah.
for sure.
decent people.
The wild cards I think would be more so like Green Bull. Him I
Yeah.
don't know. I think he would maybe stay on the wrong side because he's just
Yeah.
blindly following orders.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Well,
He's
and
just
he's
a-
like
he's a-
adamant about his opinions on the celestial dragons. Like he's
Yes.
like, they're literally gods, whatever.
Mhm.
Like he has his opinions that aren't changing.
Exactly.
Hmm.
And I think Kizaru is also a wild card. Him I don't know. I can't say for sure what he would do.
And we can't really get too
yeah,
deep
we
into
can't get
that.
into that at all.
But
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
curious to have this conversation with you once you learn more because I was surprised at the shit that came out for him. Like nowadays, even the fandom is pretty torn on like what's gonna happen with him. I used to be a hardcore like Kizaru was just blindly following orders too. He'd be on the side of like the government no matter what. But nowadays, I started thinking like I don't know, like I don't know. The government was a lot more fucked up than I thought it was, which is
Yeah.
saying something after 1,000+ episodes. So.
Okay. You guys seem like you are itching to say some shit. It's
Of course we
y'all are talking. Y'all are so
Of
big. I'm
course
just
we
like,
are.
I'm really just. I'm gonna be completely honest. I was trying to listen to everything you guys said, and be completely distracted at the same time. I was trying. I was just like, I tried not to like take too much of what you guys say because I
Yeah.
feel like if I'll start piecing shit together really quick. I'm not.
Yeah, because you're clever.
Yeah. I mean, we call a lot of shit.
They do, yeah. One thing I've always told our guests, since they're anime only, and then we have our podcast conversations about it, every time they come up with their own theories, since I know what happens like a year from now, when they start guessing stuff, right, I'll write it down on my phone, and I'll keep track of like, oh, on this day, you guys actually predicted this. Like, they basically predicted Gear 5 without
Oh heck yeah.
Yeah, like they knew that it wasn't gonna be the actual gum gum fruit, blah, 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 which is impressive because nobody really got that when we were reading it.
Mm-hmm. Hey, dang. Yeah,
And
it's
then-
a cool way to keep tabs and make conversation too.
Yeah, it has been a minute since y'all guessed anything right though. So
Oh, really?
yeah,
Oh, wait. I thought you said we got the Lucci thing.
that's like probably the last thing you got right.
Oh, okay.
There hasn't been anything as of recently. Y'all need to start theorizing a little bit more. I want to see what y'all think.
I'm kind of scared with this one though. Oh, well, okay. I'm pretty sure there's something. I guess. Well, I mean, Kuma's really prevalent, so I'm gonna assume that I was right, or we were right, saying that he's on his way to Egghead.
Who knows? Maybe he could go anywhere.
Damn, she's really good, man.
It's a great poker
What?
face.
The poker face is.
I love it. Who's Kuma?
Just
Oh my God!
I can
Yes,
see my eyes.
look at.
Oh, that's sick.
I love those.
that.
That is. I love that.
I don't even know where I put my Kuma glasses. They're over here somewhere.
They light up too, right?
They do light up, yeah.
Awesome.
They're sick.
Have the typical anime like glasses effect.
Literal, they're called anime glasses.
Of course they are.
Yeah.
And you touch the middle of them, like
Yeah.
freaking.
Why is that a thing?
It's a trope, bro. It's a trope.
Oh, I wanted to ask you something like a while ago. I forgot because you like briefly mentioned it. You said you were actually a pretty big My Hero fan, right?
I am.
You read the manga for that too?
I have not, but I've been spoiled so much that I'm about to because I want to get caught up. That's what happened with JJK. I only started reading the manga because I kept getting spoiled, and so I was like,
Same-
you know
same
what?
with
I'm
me.
just gonna go ahead and read it. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm tempted, but I know what something big just happened. So I was like, yeah, I should just get back into it. I really need to just start reading it again.
Yeah, I was curious because like I feel like My Hero hasn't been talked about too much as of late. Like it's just I kind of feel like it's been overshadowed by a lot of anime nowadays.
I agree. Well, and I'll unless you want to ask the last question, Emery, my anime hot take had to do with Demon Slayer,
Ooh,
but
go for it.
I watch Demon Slayer and I've watched Demon Slayer, right?
Mhm.
And maybe it's not a hot take because I think a lot of people have this opinion. I don't think it deserves all the credit it gets
It's doo-doo.
unless it's for its animation.
Agreed. 1000%.
Story is poo-poo. It is generic. It is. It's
Yeah.
It's fucking boring.
Yeah.
And it's just the development. Like I like the slow burn of like training arcs. Maybe I like watching people develop. It seems like it just goes from, wow, I know nothing about being a swordsman to holy crap, I can now literally slice demons. Oh my god, I learned about my background. Oh, okay, now I'm literally fighting for my life and can slice demons. Like, I just don't feel like there was enough training that
Yeah.
we saw on screen for me to really enjoy it, like you get with just about every other anime.
Yeah.
At least shonen wise, right? So that's my anime hot take. Just I wish we got more in Demon Slayer. I wish it
No,
was
yeah.
longer. I wish we got more training.
I think that's a fair take, and I think that also kind of speaks to the fact that you're more of like an old school anime fan because we grew up with slower burning animes that took a while to kind of get to the point, and they fleshed out their training sections, especially like in shows like Naruto, Dragon Ball, so all that stuff. But I think that speaks to our experience with it because now
True.
Demon Slayer speaks more to like the newer generation of anime fans that want like faster paced content, flashy stuff, and it works. It's just a completely different generation. But I do agree that the
Absolutely.
story leaves much to be desired. I watch it for the pretty pictures.
For sure. And I'm like, I'll never take that away. I mean, I've
Mhm.
got favorite characters in it, and I think some of the character designs are really dope. And it's just like, I wish I got a little bit more.
And
I wish-
I'll always give it the credit that it deserves, that it did change the game for anime, because without Demon Slayer, we may not have had like this whole new wave of anime fans the way we do. Like, I genuinely think it paved the way for
The worst generation.
the worst generation, we call them because
yeah,
of, like,
yeah.
COVID stuff, but
I
like
feel like,
not worse in the sense that
feel
they
like
suck.
they
Just
take- oh
newer.
yeah, just that it's
Yeah.
different. No, like worst generation One Piece wise is what you're
Yes,
considering,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like
Yeah,
the
yeah,
newer
yeah.
rookies that are
No.
coming in, basically.
For clarification for those that are listening. But no, I equally think My Hero could have done that. And my
Thank you,
reasoning
yes.
behind that is the idea that, especially when COVID hit, right? There was this gap in fandoms
Mhm.
in this bridge that My Hero could have. Anytime I
I
have
literally
a
just made a
Marvel
TikTok
or
about this.
DC friend, yeah, that's like that's like, oh, I think I commented on it.
Yeah.
I think I commented on it. Yeah. So literally that. It's just like, I always recommend if you want to get into anime, start My Hero. It's the perfect bridge between, you know, superheroes and anime and shonen
Yeah,
and
it's a
all
good
of
bridge,
that.
yeah.
So, yeah.
Early My Hero was fantastic. I think it was just so. I actually loved early My Hero more than I do
first two
anything
seasons
recently.
were
so good,
and then
like,
when the third season came out,
yeah, I think it peaked around the overhaul stuff. In my
Yeah.
opinion. That was my favorite season, and that's where I picked up the manga though, and that's one thing that I'll say this still because it's been 2 seasons since like I kind of felt this way, and I still feel the same. Ever since the villain arc in the anime, that's when it started really like going downhill.
Yeah.
For me, I think the anime for My Hero has been dropping the ball consistently since the Villain Academia arc, because that was one of the arcs that I was so excited to see animated because the manga was beautiful. It got me more hooked into reading more mangas. That made me want to pick up probably One Piece, also Black Clover, and a few other ones too, because it just looked great. The artwork was fantastic, and I was like, dang, this is so gritty, and it's such like a good development in the story, like the stakes are high. And then the anime just did not give me that feeling at all. And I was like,
gotcha.
Damn it, like I might have ruined it for myself. That could have been just a me thing. But I think that like one of the common things that is always thrown out there was like there's always a blue sky.
Yeah.
It's always bright and sunny and blue sky, and like it doesn't always call for that. And it's not that I don't want a blue sky, it's that the colors and the tone of it doesn't fit what's going on. Like Shigaraki was destroying, leveling an entire city. Why does it look like, you know, like a fucking Saturday afternoon, everyone's just chilling, you know, having a good time?
That's true. And I think again that kind of speaks to the fandom, and you know, you hear a lot of bad things about the My Hero fandom and their takes and whatever it might be, and maybe the generation of people watching My Hero that really like My Hero and put it at the top of their list, which why I think it gets such a bad rap, and the idea that a lot of them are younger, and so handling those darker tones is hard, you know, like dealing with death in shows like that for a freaking 10-year-old is hard when you're coherent and when you're aware, right? Unlike like I was saying earlier, people die in Dragon Ball and then they freaking go and they've just got a halo on their head. It's like, hey, Dad, like they're still here, but like you can't express that the same way in My Hero because it's not different. So
yeah, that's a good point. It is. I think the anime does make a bigger point to like reach the younger demographic, and I think they have to censor it a little bit because of the money that they need to be making and the merchandising.
Absolutely.
So
yeah, for sure.
It goes a lot to do with like the time that the episodes air too. And I remember I had this conversation about Dragon Ball too. Like everyone had always complained about Dragon Ball Super being so much more lighthearted and less intense than like Dragon Ball Z. That was because back in the day, Dragon Ball Z aired at a time that it was like later, and it was more like
catered to Japan,
like Japan and like teenagers. Like the older teenagers, I guess, kind of. And then Dragon Ball Super started airing more like early morning, like kind of like a Saturday morning cartoon equivalent, but for Japan.
Yeah.
The time zone was meant, or the time slot that it was airing was meant to be focused more on a younger like audience. So that's a big reason that I think it had that tonal shift. You know, it can justify it, but it doesn't mean I like it. I mean, I like the grittiness of it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'll have to pick up the MHA manga then and give my opinions before this new season comes out.
Yeah.
So
I would go back though and like read the villain arc. Read the villain arc, like because
beautiful.
Shigaraki's awakening is what got me to read it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well. Noted.
Yeah, no, that's cool. And are you a Black Clover fan by any chance? Have you watched or read anything?
I started Black Clover. I think I got into season 2. I think when there were gaps in like weeklies for anime showings, I started picking up different things. So I started Fire Force. I think I've enjoyed watching Fire Force more than I've enjoyed watching Black Clover. My brother and I started Black Clover together. He got a little more ahead than me, and then I think JJK started back up. Something started back up, so I dropped it again. But and then I started watching some more romance and haven't picked it back up. I didn't dislike it. I love Yami. Back on the Simp Talk. I love Yami. So, you know, I'll get back into it eventually. I like the idea of it, and obviously, a lot of the newer anime take things in ideas and stuff like that from older anime, which is bound to happen, just like any piece of media ever.
Yeah.
It can be inspired by, right? But
I recommend
I'm
that one
expecting
if you like the slower paced ones because I think Black Clover is one of those newer gen anime that
Was
kind
a
of
slow burn.
was more of a slow burn, kind of more nostalgic the
Awesome.
way we grew up with anime, and I think that's why
Mhm.
I at least
It was one of those.
gravitated
It was one of those last few ones, like in that like 2010ish era of like being like a weekly release, and like
Yeah.
it had like in the beginning was a more little episodic kind of feel to it, and then
Mhm.
they started to build like, oh, there's a real story behind it. Like I'm telling you, it's one of my favorite fucking stories ever.
It's good. Okay, my brother keeps saying the same thing. He keeps going, it might be like top 3 for me.
Yeah,
So I'm like,
solid.
well,
It
if you like that much.
It is in my top 3.
Heck yeah.
That
Yeah.
and Magi constantly swap for me because I there are a few series that I have collected for manga, but the ones that I have like hunted for and hungered for is Black Clover. That I have every fucking physical copy out for that, just because it's
Mhm.
the manga is visually so good. Like it's
super good.
the anime is great. It is phenomenal, but the manga reading it, the artist is really good about doing like full page spread. So those 2 pages are just one beautiful piece, and like that's
Oh.
something me and him have always
Yeah.
fanned over.
Yeah, the artwork draws a lot, and it's so cool getting to see the detail that he does. Like, I really appreciate all the different like artwork from these different mangas because if it fits the tone, even better. And I will always say I think the manga for Black Clover and My Hero is better than their respective animes. Not to say that the
fair
anime
enough,
is
fair
bad,
enough.
but it's a different beast altogether.
How do you feel about the JJK manga? Because I've had my qualms with its art style in the manga versus the anime, and obviously with Mappa, you're gonna get phenomenal whatever, right? But even the recent chapters, I'm just like, it's so not like
Hectic.
scribbled because that's obviously, but it's just yeah, exactly. So I'm just like, oh, this is a lot going on. Sometimes it's hard to follow, and sometimes I'm
Yeah.
like, oh god.
I agree with that. I think the JJK manga is good, but I think the anime is better because it draws out fights a little longer and it's easier to follow. Like it's easier to follow the action when it's animated than when you're like seeing it cut up into panels. Like the continuous motion helps me out a lot. The only reason I read JJK is because I'm tired of getting spoiled all the time. I was getting spoiled for that more than any other anime I've ever watched. Like when I found out about the big spoiler in JJK that I'm not gonna say on camera.
Gojo died.
Yeah, when I found out about that, I was like, "Yep, that's it. That's the last straw. I'm picking it up," and I couldn't deal with it anymore.
That was where I picked up.
And I also it's a complicated show. It's a really complicated. It takes a lot of brain cells to understand the fuck is going on and just the power system. Like,
And even just the bounds of it. I think after I picked it up and post Shibuya, I would say even, and learning about these other characters and their abilities, I was like, this goes beyond what I thought sorcerers were capable of in like a jujutsu sense. And so I was like, holy crap, it just so much and so little. And mind you, like past when I was saying earlier about a slow burn and stuff, obviously I think we're past that in JJK where now it's just like in the shiznit, right? In that final run. And so I don't really add that same connotation when I'm talking about JJK because of that. But man, it's just hit after hit after hit with direct action, and
sometimes
I
you
like
need a
it. But I'm just like, oh my god! I'm like, God, can we get a lighthearted episode, please?
For real.
Like, I just need them to go freaking harp on Megami again. Real quick.
Man, I miss just the dumb interactions that like the trio had in season 1. It was just so much fun, and it gave me those nostalgic like Naruto vibes. But ever since Shibuya, you realize, oh, we're never getting that ever again.
Yeah.
Like,
this is dark.
Yeah, it's just dark for the rest of the series. Like, there's no going back. There was just too much like world impacting events that like you can't justify a lighthearted, episode where they go shopping or something.
Yep. Which is how I feel or I've heard Chainsaw Man is too, which I haven't picked up, but I want to start reading because I heard that it again gets into that dark trio type.
I've only watched what's been animated so far. I haven't picked that one up. I hope we get more for it, like, cause I liked it, but I don't think I liked it enough to pick up the manga though.
Okay.
It's weird, cause I did really like it.
I really liked it.
Sometimes I just have to have like that feeling, like there's something where I watch it and I'm like, oh, I need to know more.
Which is actually, I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of surprising coming from you because I knew how much you appreciated the like cinematography of it.
Yeah, but you'll get that more in an anime than you will in a manga.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah, like it probably wouldn't translate the same. They took a lot more like creative liberties in the anime than they probably did in the manga, so that's why like it's not gonna be the same.
Yeah.
So you'd understand why some people would prefer to watch One Piece instead of reading it.
I always understand why. I just
No,
give you
because you
shit
get
for
a
it.
lot in One Piece.
Yeah,
I'll tell you.
and that's
Oda
another
is
one.
phenomenal.
Yeah, like that's another one where I'm the biggest One Piece fan, and I do read the manga weekly, no doubt about it. But that manga can be really hard to follow sometimes, especially when he packs so much into just a couple pages. Oda
Yeah,
is
and then
notorious for it, bro.
People will be like, "Oh yeah, I'm searching for Panda Man." Meanwhile, they find like an Easter egg from something that's gonna happen in the next 10 chapters, and they're
Yeah.
like, "I've now theorized that this is actually the Bible." It's like, "What happened to that?"
Yeah, like sometimes I read that one on like a computer or on my phone, and I literally have to zoom in and go panel per panel
Yes.
because this
Those
man
are-
stacks so much detail and information that like it's also hard to follow sometimes.
Mhm.
I like the manga, but it's not my favorite manga, like just objectively, because it's
Yeah.
hard to follow. Like I like Dragon Ball, for example, as a manga more than I do One Piece, because of the way it looks. It has such a good flow to it. The fights are easy to follow. You know who's there in the room. You know who's fighting what. It's never overcomplicated, and it finds a good way to tell a story in between all of that. There are so many
Yeah.
times that in One Piece, Oda kind of just does all of the action, and then in random side bubbles, he'll throw in a little bit of narration from characters that aren't there but are just narrating in the background, and you're like, wait, are they there? Are they not there?
Yeah.
Like what the fuck is actually going on?
Okay.
And that's where I think the
Yeah.
anime does better, because yeah, maybe the pacing is slower, but at least you're understanding who's where, who's talking. Like again,
Okay.
it
It
helps
adds the
the
clarity.
flow. It adds a lot of
Mhm.
clarity. Exactly.
I had a thought just now because of what she just said.
Hmm.
What is it that Kuma? What book is it that Kuma is walking around with?
Bible.
Bible.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Does that mean that like One Piece world has Christianity
Jesus.
and Jesus?
So, Bible is a generic term for just like
Okay.
a religious text. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's just. There is reasoning behind it, right? Why he carries that around?
There's what?
Is there reasoning behind why he carries that around? I don't remember if we know that. Or
I
not.
mean, you'll learn a lot more about Kuma, and it'll make sense why
Mhm.
he carries a Bible.
Just the environment that he was in, I guess.
Yeah, and like his job, I guess, while he
guess
was on the island.
I'm just
right?
kinda
Yeah,
curious
yeah.
what kind of, I guess, religious text is in it.
You know, I think too. I don't know if Oda's really touched on Christianity specifically. I think it's more like because even the images on the Bible itself, like it looks like an angel, right? That has a lot of connotation and all that stuff. But it's not ever touched on, at least up till now,
Yeah.
what specific it is, other than like Bible, church.
Yeah, I
So-
think it's supposed to be meant as a more generalized idea that, like, hey, it could exist.
Religion is prevalent. Yeah.
But it's just
Okay.
religion. You could probably substitute it for whatever. Maybe he just decided to go
Yeah.
with that because it might be more prominent.
Just an open kind of text for like
I
whoever
think
wants to
so.
fill that religion. Okay.
That's how I'm choosing to view it.
Okay.
Yeah.
think
Somebody
it-
watching
Yeah.
could be like, oh yeah, Kuma's Jewish.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think
he
you're
doesn't
meant
wear
to
a yarmulke. I tell you that much.
Yeah, I don't think it's
We
meant to
had
be
ears. Come on.
Oh man. I'm sorry, I couldn't help that last joke.
read. Of course, you had to.
Yeah.
What was it that you were calling hot takes earlier? Instead of a hot
Oh.
take.
Oh, when I was talking about the hear me outs.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
hear me out. What's
mhm.
your quick hear me
I
out?
was gonna say like,
Okay, this is gonna sound really bad, but I saw some exquisite fan art. Okay, not like weird fan art. It was just exquisitely drawn
Uh huh.
okay, yeah. No, I know.
of,
Yeah.
of Brooke, but as a skeleton.
Uh huh.
Oh.
Not where I was expecting you to go.
Okay.
At all. So that's probably my biggest hear me out, because that's kind of like a really like come on.
How would that even
come on.
work? Like,
I don't even know. I have a lot of hear me outs. I practically think everybody in One Piece is.
is a hear me out.
I
Anyone
mean-
that's not
It-
normal sized, probably. Like, imagine just like one of the giants.
Yeah,
hear me
like-
out.
Young Kaido, like young
Young
Kaido.
Kaido.
Obviously, everyone loves Rayleigh. Rayleigh's our freaking
Really
Daddy.
kind of Yeah.
I have Shocky for me
Still
as like a
Shocky.
very light here.
Oh.
Like that's not even much of an argument. It's just like Shocky.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, you know this one actually. This one's been pretty prevalent on this podcast for a while. Big Mom.
Big young
Oh,
big mom.
absolutely.
Hear me out. Yeah, like we've always said, after having like 80 something kids, you know.
And here's the thing too, getting Big Mom, there's that theory about well, I think they look a lot alike. Yamato being Big
Oh.
Mom's child.
It would make sense,
And
like the
it's
fucking
either
strength.
in their size.
Mhm.
I'm just like, oh man. But
That's Yamato's my mom.
then you gotta think like
That's
Emery's "Hear Me Out" is Yamato's fucking Zoan transformation.
listen.
Luigi's zone
Listen,
transformation.
I'm not a furry. Where's B-Star shirt? But
Specifically
Yo.
the hybrid form, I guess, not the full.
yeah, like she just had to like go and like have to have like a wolf form of all things. And like for people who don't know, like I like wolves, man. Like I have a wolf tattoo on me and everything. And so like yeah, she was literally white hair Nami with horns.
It's yeah.
And
I'm not
she's a
gonna, hey,
badass.
you're not gonna get me on any Hear Me Out because I probably agree.
Huh. I mean, do you got
Yeah.
any?
I was trying to think of like anybody super crazy. Off the top of my head, I can't think of anyone.
Not
right
even
now.
One Piece though. What about
Just like in
any?
general.
Have you seen Mashoko
I mean-
Tensei?
Have I seen what?
Jobless Reincarnation?
I've not.
Oh,
A really good isekai.
really good isekai. He doesn't
you
know shit about good isekai, but it's a good isekai.
Have you seen Tanya the Evil?
No.
I like that as an isekai, but it's interesting. Look up the premise of it.
Okay.
Name one more time. Tanya what?
Tanya the Evil.
Tanya the Evil. Okay, we'll check that out.
Yeah, it's got like a longer name, but that's like the main premise. Like if you just type in that, the rest of it should pop up.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay.
I'm trying to think.
Have you ever seen Akame ga Kill?
I started it, didn't. I know, but that's because like I'll get into these modes where I'm like, I want to start a new anime, and I'll start watching it, and then I'm like, oh, it's 3 a.m. and I've watched 5 episodes because I wanted to watch this at midnight, right? Whatever, and then I just never pick it back up. Even with just like romance anime, I get the same.
That sounds like your brother.
Yeah. Basically, he's not watching anime anytime soon. Probably.
Okay.
Outside of like what's weekly coming out, I think he's only keeping up with One Piece and Kaiju number 8.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, Kaiju number 8. Have you heard of that? Watched any of that?
I've heard a lot about it. Again, have not watched it though, but I added it to my watch list, so I'm
That
excited.
if you're willing to take any recommendations from us, take that from me. Kaiju number 8.
Kaiju number 8.
Is a
Heck yeah.
good one. I
Heck
binged
yeah.
I binged like 100 chapters when I picked it up, like in a week. Basically, I was on vacation and I was like, "Fuck it, I'm reading this," and I caught up really fast. That's super good. And if you like Attack on Titan even a little bit, you'll like this one.
And that's what I kept hearing, so I was like, well, I do love Attack on Titan, so let's see
There's
what
a
this
big
is
gore
about.
warning.
Very gory, but like with monsters instead of people. So
Yeah, well, if you can deal with Attack on Titan gore,
yeah,
you can deal with monster gore.
Chop change. Yeah. Do you have any recommendations?
Okay, actually, fucking yes. I wish he was here to fucking be here to help me with this one, actually. So much. It hurts me. You know what's coming, don't you? I don't know if any of you guys have actually taken the time to go on Netflix and watch Ash complete his fucking journey. That shit is fucking phenomenal.
Pokemon?
Is it good?
It's so fucking good. Like,
I don't want to cry, man.
oh,
End of an era.
honestly, you won't. I won't. Like, it is kind of the like ending of an era, but like the people you get to see him fight
Mm-hmm.
and battle is crazy.
I've
Like the
only seen
Masters
the end.
8, that like the last 8 people he faces. Oh my god.
No.
Yeah.
I bet.
And they're taking like they're taking things from like 3 different series and putting them into like this last one. Like in this tournament, he's able to use Dynamax, he's able to use Z moves, and he can fucking Mega Evolve his Pokemon. Like-
Golly. All right, well, add it to the list.
And like if you're a Pokemon fan, okay, the team he runs with, chef's kiss. He like obviously like he has a Lucario that he hatched
Oh,
from an
yeah.
egg.
Yeah.
and he raised from a Riolu to a Lucario. He's got the Gengar he found. Mm-hmm.
God.
He always has Pikachu, obviously.
He always has Pikachu. He's got a Dragonite. And this Dragonite, like he became friends with his Dragonite. That he was like one of those ones that would like deliver letters.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
one of the main ones.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool.
Who am I forgetting? Oh God. Huh? Oh yeah, Sirfetch. Yeah, Sirfetch, the evolved
Oh,
form of
gosh,
Farfetch. And then what was the dragon one that he found? He essentially discovered a whole new Pokemon, and it was a dragon type. It's a weird.
Like,
it's
is
a,
it Rayquaza?
It's a weird dragon type. Well, because like by the time you are like watching this and like this battle, he's the Alolan champion.
Mm.
Like
Wow.
that
Okay.
region, when he goes back to that region, they're all just like Ash, Pikachu, because like they revere him as like their champion.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, all right, okay. I need to get back into it anyways. I've been meaning to buy the games. I've been meaning to buy Violet, but I'm gonna get back into Pokemon. Okay.
I don't know if you're a DS player, if you own a DS, start buying Pokemon hard copies like it's religion. Because
I don't
They're
have
worth
it.
a lot of money.
they are worth a shit ton of money right now, and they are gonna just be very, like, DS is slowly like just shutting down all their kind of processes and everything like that.
Mhm.
So getting those like very rare like
Hard copies.
hard
yeah.
copies and like those few that were just like they're just chef kiss games. Like you're not gonna what's the hard one? Soul Silver and Heart Gold.
Mm-hmm.
Like those are
Isn't Emerald also like worth a shit ton?
for the SP. Yes. Platinum, another hard ass one.
Dang.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
Okay.
the OG Diamond and Pearl. Oh, that's a that's a
It's a whole market that has just
Mhm.
exploded. Like retro video games. Fucking, we bought a Dragon Ball Z video game for like $140 like a week ago.
he did.
It's
my God,
worth
for
it's
what?
worth over
PS1?
300. For PS2.
Oh, I knew
Yeah.
it was close.
And no, it's worth
Worth
like
it.
over $300. But I was able to get it for like
Good
140.
Lord.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the worst part was that I sold that game at a garage sale like maybe 6-7 years ago for like maybe $5.
God.
Do you, okay,
People
okay.
don't know what they have.
Nope, never.
Okay, were you? I just like I'm curious now. Was there ever like that moment when you were like a kid and like growing up, and so like you sold some of those things that looking back you're just like, fuck, why did I do that?
You know, me personally, no. And the only reason why is because I left for the Navy when I was 18. So
Mhm.
a lot of the stuff that I had when I was a kid was left to my parents and family devices. And whether or not they got rid of it, I still to this day don't even know.
Oh, okay.
So
Oh, that's
yeah,
the worst.
like even my DS, right? I had a DS. One of my favorite games, we were just talking about DSs, was Elite Beat Agents.
Okay.
That was one of my favorite games to play on the DS. And I don't even know where my DS is. I don't know where any of my games are. I don't know where my little Guitar Hero freaking peg thing is.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I miss Guitar Hero.
Yeah.
So do I.
Can that be
Yeah.
the next ones that we go and collect?
Maybe.
Those are fun. I love
That's a good
Yeah.
one. Actually, I didn't think about that. Oh,
Guitar
that's.
Hero.
I don't know. I think I would be happier knowing, like, I guess my parents just did something with my shit. Just like, I can't be mad at you.
Instead
you
of just
didn't.
left,
You didn't
like,
know.
Yeah.
left wondering.
Yeah,
Yeah.
instead of like
Ye-
me growing up and I'm just like, you dumbass.
You know what? I take that back because there are these things called Littlest Pet Shop. And I collected those as a child, like hundreds of them. And I have a small tin can of what was left of them sitting in my office now. And those things are expensive. People are reselling the original ones
Uh-huh.
for like, some of them can get up into the hundreds. And they're just like little 1-inch bobblehead.
The Littlest
Animals,
Pet
like-
Shop? That sounds really familiar.
You know what? Let me see. I'll
Oh, yeah.
grab one for you. Yeah, so I got them in a Squishmallow tin can.
I
But
feel like I remember seeing like commercials for that when I was a kid or something.
Yeah, it sounds.
What else?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the little like animal things. I
Yeah.
remember those. Yeah, I didn't think that those were like worth a lot of money now. Wow.
Okay.
crazy people will buy to collect them.
I'm really glad. I'm sorry. Like we would stop, but there was a question I wanted to get into because we asked. I don't know if you know Swim Angie Swim.
Yeah, Angie.
She's the best.
When we had her on,
We have the same headphones.
Nice.
I remember. I think I commented on something about that, or you commented that. That's right.
And you said you needed to get a
I
fix.
did. One of the questions we asked her was like, out of your collection, do you have a piece that's kind of like, yeah, that's my
Your pride and joy.
pride and joy?
You know, I would say yes, and I'll grab it for you.
Yes.
It was actually a birthday gift for my brother. And wait, have both of you guys watched Naruto? First of all,
Yeah.
Okay. So let me pull it up. I gotta scoot because I'm in.
Yeah, no, go for it. You're good.
I'm so excited. Okay, now we can like take a look at like what else.
Yeah.
I like the Hunter x Hunter.
I like the stuff on the right side. Is that I see Madara over there? Is that Hisoka?
yeah.
I see Hisoka.
I saw Hisoka.
Get over here.
Yeah.
Oh, I got Virgo.
I like the top shelf Avatar stuff.
Oh, that's
that's cool. I haven't seen a Virgo one.
Oh my god.
Yo, is that Mike Guy?
Yes, so that's what I was gonna say. My guy. So sorry, I was away from my mic, but my guy is my second favorite Naruto character, and I want to get 8 Gates guy tattooed on me so bad, but my brother got me this statue. It's not a resin statue, but it is a scaled one, so it's him doing 8 Gates.
That's cool as fuck. I love
Yeah.
that. That's a good size too. That's like massive.
It's probably my biggest like action posed figure. Like I've got a decent sized Kuma and a few decent sized Zoros, and I want to get I started a Kuma fund. I don't know if you can see this little guy. This is actually a coin bank that I was putting money into like when I first started cosplaying Kuma, so almost 2 years ago, and I was going to fundraise for a Kuma like resin statue because I got a whole bunch of dope ones, but
Yeah.
you know, we are anime collectors and a few of these other shops, they sell out really fast and they only have limited numbers. And I'm like, man, do I want to put the money in for it now? I don't even have the space for it. So I keep holding off, but I'm like determined now to do it,
Oh,
to get one.
Pull the trigger.
Yep.
Treat yourself.
treat yourself.
Treat yourself every day. I treat myself. Look at this place. Look at it.
Yeah.
Good. That's what we like to hear. Let the collection grow.
Retail therapy, ain't that
Yep.
right, Bunny Lord?
My favorite type. Who
Oh.
needs a therapist?
I'm
Right.
pretty sure that we're gonna be getting more Kuma like merch probably in the next like year or so. And there's a specific thing that I really want like as a statue, something that he does, and I think it'd be really fucking dope.
I mean, Kuma stocks are gonna go up, right?
Kuma stocks. Invest now. Invest in the Kuma stocks.
You would be surprised the amount of comments I get now when people see my Kuma cosplay. Like people are either like, dang, you invested early, your stocks are up, right? Because I've been cosplaying it for so long. Or there's people like, you're only cosplaying Kuma now because he's relevant again. And I'm like, you need to do your research a little bit, buddy, because I've been cosplaying Kuma for quite a bit.
People think they know. And they're like, nah. You got in at a great time. Like you invested early. You invested when Bitcoin was like $1.
Oh, a cent.
A cent. Yeah. Ain't nobody. If all you've seen is Thriller Bark, ain't nobody would have known the shit that Kuma's been.
Absolutely not.
Mm.
Absolutely not.
Kuma is the Bitcoin of the One Piece fucking world.
God.
Yeah.
Okay. I can get behind that. Kuma stocks are up.
Yeah.
Kuma stocks are up. I would sell your Zoro stocks, by the way.
I'll stab you right now.
Do it.
Give me that.
Cut the podcast. Cut the podcast.
Cut the podcast.
Oh.
I'm gonna put in there a little.
I'm just not gonna be here. And it's like, oh, Martin had to go. Yeah. No, but I think that's a good place to kind of wrap it up. Is there anything else that you would like to let the world know, Taylor? Anything that you're working on, or even just a recommendation that you want to throw out there?
Gosh, anything I'm working on. I'm always working on new cosplays. As I started cosplaying Human Brook, I am working on a Brook cosplay.
Nice.
Like a regular Brook, I should say, right?
Soul King.
Unfleshed Brook. Yeah, Soul King Brook. I think that'd be kind of cool. I want to work a little bit more on some of my cosplays. So be prepared for that. I'm trying to venture out. I'm trying to do a couple more Bleach cosplays as well. I think Kenpachi would be kind of dope.
Ooh, that would be dope, yeah.
Oh, yeah. But no, anything I want to put out there. How about if you haven't seen Space Dandy, watch Space Dandy.
There you go. Oh, I haven't seen Space Dandy.
Yeah, I know you haven't.
That's like a day
gonna have it.
3
I'm gonna have
of
it.
me knowing him. That he's like, you need to watch Space Dandy.
Nobody knows what it is. It was one of those that I
The
found on deployment, and I was like, I need to tell people about this.
The space dance to save the universe is my favorite fucking scene ever.
Yes.
I've shown it to him probably a million fucking times.
But out of context, I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, what is this?
I have never had somebody come on and recommend something that I was so much happy that it brought me to fucking tears, Martine.
Yeah, no.
Well, there you go. Who would have thought? Who would have
Yeah,
thought?
he's a big space dandy.
It's one of my favorite, like, feel-good fucking animes, man.
Mine too.
All right, well, that has actually never really been on my list, but I'll put it on my list for y'all.
I know you'll love it. I know you'll love it, bro.
Probably, I normally end up loving everything you recommend.
Yes.
Again, I just
If
don't
you're
like
not
when
like
you're right.
solely, if you're just like my brother really navigates towards shonen, right? And some isekais, like I don't even know what the name of this one is called that he really loves, but yeah, if you're open-minded about the type of in the genre of anime that you watch, then yeah, you'll really like it.
I feel like I can watch a lot of stuff. Like Isekai is probably one of my lesser favorite ones. That one's kind of a hit or miss, and fantasy in general, like I think I just have to be in the mood for it. I do gravitate more towards like shonen, but I also really like.
He likes comedy.
I like my comedies, and I like my
Aw.
like some like romance slice of life ones.
He does
are
like
pretty
slice
good
of life.
too. I was a
Yeah.
huge Horimiya fan. Like that one was really fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fucking
No, I said
start with
peak.
me. Okay, I thought you said
peak.
fake. I was like,
no,
I'll beat your
bro.
ass.
I loved Horimiya.
I was about to say, I'll beat your ass. I got you on that one.
No, I'll fight somebody who's talking some shit about Horimiya.
Horimiya is great. Like,
Mhm.
still one of the best ones. Okay, I'll check that one out. Yeah, I'll look at it eventually.
Thank you, Taylor, so much for your amazing recommendation. And thank you
You're
for coming on the
welcome.
podcast. I really appreciate
Thank you
it.
guys for having me.
Absolutely, we got to do this again.
Absolutely. We'll have to have you back on, when Gary's feeling better. Most definitely. And
We'll make sure to add all your socials. Let us know where the people can find you, and we'll put it in our descriptions. Okay?
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you guys so much.
No
thank
problem.
you.
Thank you guys for listening. Make sure to check out our episodes Wednesdays on Spotify and Apple, and Thursdays on YouTube. With that, anything else?
Alchemists out.
Alchemist out.
Bye.